We are live. What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome to the third writing session of NaNoWriMo together here on my channel. I'm so glad you're here. First things first, tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. We are going to be writing together today for our third session of the month here. And I'm super excited. It's been really fun so far. We've been doing Write With Me live streams every Wednesday of NaNoWriMo. And we have one more after this for the final, I think it's the actual final day is a Wednesday of NaNoWriMo. So we're going to finish strong together. It's going to be super fun. But today we have 4 writing sprints to do, 25 minutes on, 5-minute breaks in between. And you know how it goes. If this is your first time here, however, the way these live streams work is we write together for 25 minutes and then have a quick break. I will answer some questions that pop up in the chat, and then we get back into writing. So you can watch my timer countdown clock here or set your own timer. I will be setting my own timer as well. So type in the chat, tell me where you're tuning in from and what you're working on today. So a lot of you guys are doing NaNoWriMo. And I've been doing it, but not like seriously. My goal is just kind of to write every single day. I don't have a specific word count goal. I've been working on 2 projects. One is a new fiction project, which I'm very excited about. I hate to love romance, but I can't say anything other than that. And then the other one is a nonfiction book. That's the long-awaited book about writing. And that's actually what I'm going to be working on today with you guys. So looks like we have writers tuning in from all over the world. So cool. Let's see, Poland, Finland, Czech Republic, Germany, Hungary, California, Denmark, Finland. Awesome. Canada. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, we're going to get started in just a minute. Hopefully you have something yummy to drink. I feel like I have too many drinks here. I have a nice coffee, and then I just made myself some tea as well. I couldn't decide what I wanted, so anyway. So I also am going to be starting a sprint in the Discord community. If you guys have not joined the Discord and you like how we do sprints on this channel and have a lot of fun doing that, I would highly recommend joining the Discord, and you can do that with the link in my description box below this video. When you join my Patreon at any level, you get access to the Discord, and it's super fun. Lots of writing sprints happening in there every day, and lots of community conversation about writing and our projects and getting feedback, finding critique partners. Super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and join the sprint with 0 words because I'm just showing up to work on this project today. A lot of you guys in the States are probably having a chill Thanksgiving Eve. I know I've been having a pretty chill day so far. I've been doing some cooking and food prep and getting excited about having just a really fun, chill day tomorrow. So hopefully you all are having a wonderful Thanksgiving wherever you are in the world. Okay, so everybody ready to go? I'm going to set my timer and set my alarm to 25 minutes. And let's jump into our first writing sprint, and then we will answer some questions and chat about our stories. Okay, let's get into it. Good luck, everyone. Sprint number 1 is done. Fantastic work, guys. How did it go? Type in the chat. Let me know. My first sprint went super well, and making good progress. I've been like moving around chunks of things I've already written, so there was just a bit of rewriting to do. Not really writing from scratch, but it's all good. It's all about reorganizing what I've already written and adding to it. So it's a different type of writing. It's fun though. It's cool. Okay, looks like you guys had a wonderful first sprint. Fantastic. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to answer a few questions super fast, and then we're going to go into our next sprint. Great work, guys. So many words being written. You guys are powerhouses. Awesome. Let's see. Question from Kayla. Do you have any general tips for writing contemporary? Mine is coming off bland. With any story, but especially contemporary, you want to dig super deep into your characters and their internal conflict. I know I say this all the time, but it's what makes a story juicy. Even if there's not a lot going on, you could have a story taking place in one room in the real world, and there's enough juicy internal conflict happening that you care about the characters and you care about what is happening. So I would say dig deeper into your characters, their desires, fears, misbeliefs. What are their goals? What are they trying to get after? What are they trying to make happen in their lives? Why are they dissatisfied with their lives? Give them secrets, give them layers to their characters. And if you have all that and you still feel like, it's kind of bland, it's just not really, I'm not excited about it, try brainstorming some new ideas for it. Try adding in a trope that you know you're a sucker for, or multiple tropes that you know you're a sucker for. See if you can challenge yourself to take all your favorite tropes and mix them together. Maybe you change the genre, maybe change the time period it's in, maybe make it a retelling of a classic. There's so many different aspects, so many different questions you can ask yourself to freshen up a story. I actually have a whole video on that, on my brainstorming process, if you want to check that out. But for any story, what really makes it juicy and addictive to write and read is caring about the characters and making your readers care about the characters through their internal struggle. Jenna asks, is there such a thing as too much dialogue within a chapter? I have a couple where dialogue takes up most of the chapter, and I'm wondering if it's too much. For me personally, as a reader, I would say absolutely not. Dialogue is my favorite thing to read. If you have so much dialogue that your story is not moving forward, then I can see where that might be a problem. But it really depends on the scope of your story. Because like I just said, you could have a story that's taking place in one room or in one house, for the entirety of the story. And that would be mostly dialogue, and that's totally suitable for that kind of a story. So it really depends on how much action you're balancing with the dialogue. But personally, I love reading dialogue. I love writing it. I think it's some of the most interesting. It's a really interesting way to move a story forward, because you're just showcasing completely how these characters feel and their relationships with each other, which is very powerful. So I don't think there's such thing as too much. Let's see. Lexi asked, I have a question. What font size do you use for the final draft of books you publish? The word count makes up the book long, but the size of the font makes it longer. So the size font I use when I publish my books is size 11. Yeah, size 11 font in Adobe Garamond Pro is usually the font that I use. But there are several serif fonts that I would recommend for printing. Really what you want is you want to make sure that your line spacing is easy on the eyes. This is the thing that I see most indie authors do wrong, is they make their line spacing too too small. And you want to make sure that you're at least 1.25 to 1.5 spacing between your lines so that you have a easy reading experience while you're reading the words on the page. You don't want it to look crushed together, which actually I have a masterclass coming out super soon on book formatting. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to have some really good tips in that. Let's see. DJ's Crazy World asks, how do you know when you add too many plot twists or family issues? Again, it really depends on the story. What is too much? It really depends on your tastes. I think that if you have a central theme running through your story and a central plot that all the plots kind of circle and gather around, then you don't have too many, because you're not deviating off on these different bunny trails and getting lost. You're coming back to this main central plot. So let the main plot be the thing that kind of pulls them all together, but it's okay to have multiple subplots and to be showing us glimpses of this over here and this over here. So you're weaving everything together in sort of a braided plot, so to speak, but you have that one main plot that is running down the middle. And I have a whole live training in my Patreon about subplots and side characters, which goes way deeper into that. I would highly recommend checking that out as well. Okay, let's get into our next sprint. I'm going to reset my timer. I forgot to add my word count in the Discord. Oh well, this always happens. I always forget. But again, like I said, I've been moving around chunks of pieces I've already written. So it's hard to keep track of a word count. But let's go for another 25 minutes and then we'll take another break and I'll answer some more questions. Okay, let's go. Sprint number 2 is done. Great job, guys. Type in the chat, tell me how it went. I'm trying to find something in my scrivener that I misplaced and cannot remember where it is, but I will find it in the next sprint. Okay, type in the chat, tell me how it went. Looks like you guys are getting lots of words written. So cool. Okay, Discord hasn't run out yet. Fantastic work, everybody. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then we'll get into sprint number 3. So many writers here today. Oh, that's so cool. So awesome to see you all here. If you're just joining and you're like, oh no, is it almost over? Don't worry, there's still 2 more sprints left to do. So we have an hour left to do this. Okay, let's see questions. First from Julie Hunt asks, how can I stop adding so much I's to my sentences? Okay, so if you're writing a lot of sentences that begin with I, like you're writing first person, I see this, I do this, I hear this. A lot of times I precedes a filter word, like I hear, I see, I wonder, I, etc. And for filter words, one of the best ways to stop doing that is to just completely take it out and see what happens. How are you forced to rework this sentence and change the change whatever's happening? For instance, I see the beautiful purple sunset on the horizon. Okay, it's a terrible sentence, I know. Let's just go with it. I see the beautiful purple sunset on the horizon. Could just turn into the sun is, or the sunset is like a purple painting, whatever you want to, whatever the description would be, you know what I mean? So instead of just saying, I do this, or I wonder this, for instance, I wonder is a great one. So I wonder what Allie will think when I tell her what happened today. What will Allie think when I tell her what happened today? It just turns into a question. So you can just take I wonder and turn anything like that into a question. And there's so many different ways to change filter words, but I talk about that in some other videos of mine. So I won't go super deep into it here, but it's just a matter of like looking at what you're looking at differently. Because of course we're seeing what we're looking at, right? We don't need to know that we're seeing it. Okay, let's see. Marvelous Today asks, do you have any tips for writing betrayals? I think what makes betrayals really juicy and heart-wrenching is when you've established a lot of trust between the 2 characters. And there are so many ways to do that. But I would say that would be one of the biggest things is like establish a lot of trust between these characters, give them secrets that they share with each other, give them reasons to trust each other, give them pasts together, history, give their relationships some depth and history that we believe in them as characters. We can see how much they matter to each other and why they trust each other so much, and that will make the betrayal all the more heartbreaking because there's so much trust in this relationship that now it's just destroyed. The coolest Jenny in brackets Erica asks, how do I learn to write from the 3rd person? All my stories are in first person. If you prefer writing in first person, I would say just continue writing in first person. I love first person. I love reading first person and writing in it. And I think it's best to just write what you personally love. However, if you want to write in 3rd person, it's pretty easy to switch over if you think about it like you're writing outline. That's one thing that I do sometimes, but I rarely write in 3rd person. Another thing you can do is just you can just write it in first person and then in the editing process, change it all to 3rd. That can be sometimes better because you're closer in the character's head, especially if you're used to writing in first and you want it to be 3rd person close. So you're actually in the character's head, even though it's 3rd. I recommend writing in first. to start with, and then changing it. Let's see. I'm running out of time here, but I want to answer one more question. Allie Hope asks, how do you copyright your book? I actually posted a video specifically on this topic on my channel, so check that out. If you go to YouTube, type in Abby Emmons copyright, it should pop right up. That's a very comprehensive, in-depth walkthrough video. And I also answer some frequently asked questions regarding copyrights and all of the legalities of publishing your book. So check that out. That is a super helpful video for anyone who is trying to copyright their work. Okay, let's restart our timers and get into our next sprint. Again, I totally forgot to add my word count in the Discord, but I'm just going to keep joining these anyway. I don't mind sitting at the bottom of the congrats everyone list. Okay, let's get into our next sprint. is sprint number 3 finished. Fantastic work, guys. Type in the chat, tell me how it's going. Hopefully you're having an amazing writing session. We have one more sprint to do in this session. So type in the chat, tell me how it's going. Hopefully you are hard at work writing words. I've been making my way through the first part of this book, this nonfiction book. There are going to be 4 parts. Part 3 is very long. I'm in part 1 right now, which is about 6 chapters long. So yeah, lots to explore. It's coming along nicely. Okay, looks like you guys have been writing a lot. Amazing. Let's see. Hannah asks, tips on showing as opposed to just telling in my story. I feel like I struggle with that the most when describing things visually, but I struggle with it in general. So to me, visual descriptions aren't even the thing that bothers me as a reader when I see like too much telling versus showing. What bothers me as a reader and what feels like weak writing to me is when you kind of hit pause on the story to tell us a lot of information about a character or their past or the history of something or an event that happened that actually doesn't even matter to the story, but it's just there's like this opening to tell a story about this one object or whatever. So we go into this backstory about this object and how it came to be. Things like that are very much, they slow down the pace of the story and they feel like a lot of telling because it's not just a natural interaction that's unfolding. So lots to say about telling versus showing. Kate and I have talked about it on the podcast a lot too. But for me, how I try to check it in my own writing is to ask myself, when I hit pause in the story and I go into a big long monologue about whatever, the history of something or character, a lot of times I do it for characters and their relationships, but I stop and I ask myself, okay, can I show this same information, the same reality of this relationship between these two characters through action and dialogue instead? Is there a way? So that's the question to ask yourself. And sometimes there isn't a way, but oftentimes there is a way to show it. So if it was a movie scene, for instance, if you're watching a movie, how would it play out in action without describing exactly how it is? So that's one thing to challenge yourself to. With physical descriptions, if you feel like they're lagging too much, then maybe just pare it down a little bit with the descriptive words. But again, this is a stylistic thing. So I would say just kind of gauge it. Okay, let's see. ARJI asks, as a planner, how do you write scenes or details that you didn't plan for? That's a good question because I do plan a lot and I outline a lot, but sometimes I hit a scene where something new will come to me just out of the blue and I try to just roll with it. I don't know if I have like any really clear advice on this, but I kind of just try to let my mind be open and free and open to possibilities. Just open yourself up to possibilities, I would say, because when you have the idea that you planned, that was really just a moment when you were open to the possibility of something new. So opening yourself up to new possibilities helps to give you those new visuals, those new ideas, new ways that the scene could go, and just nourish that part of your brain, that creative 5-year-old genius side of your brain. The King of All Books asks, how do I write good descriptions while keeping the plot moving forward? Let your descriptions bring some sort of action, some sort of forward momentum. This is the best way to make your descriptions matter. And as far as descriptions of going into the character's mind, into their perspective and their thoughts and their decision-making process, that is one of my favorite ways to move a plot forward and move the story forward without necessarily the use of dialogue. If you're not writing dialogue, then you're writing descriptions, right? So the in-between dialogue stuff, how it moves the story forward is through your characters always making decisions. What's going to happen next? Even if they're in a stuck place, they're still having this mental torment of what am I going to do next? What are the consequences that they're facing because of what just happened? How is there a new choice on the horizon? Are they worried about something happening that's going to go wrong? Are they worried about a worst case scenario? Or maybe they are hoping for the best case scenario. This is the sort of internal narrative that you can play with and really bring a lot of forward momentum with it, because your character is the vehicle that is pushing the plot forward. Hopefully that helps. Reagan asks, where did you get that keyboard? It is so pretty. I have the link to this keyboard in the description box below this live stream because I get so many questions about this keyboard. It's an ASIO keyboard, their retro line, and I love it. It's so nice. So nice to type on. It sounds wonderful. It feels wonderful. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question and we'll get into our last sprint. Let's see. Chloe asks, tips for showing a character's insecurity in regards to their personality. So everybody has different ways of showing insecurity. Actually, you could sort of look into the psychology side of this. Might be helpful to kind of springboard off of. Check out some videos on like how people show insecure body language. That would be one place to start, but every person is different, so every person will behave differently. But I would say below the surface of their behavior, what is this character's beliefs? What are their beliefs? What is their fatal flaw? They're alive and they believe about themselves. That's always whispering in the back of their mind, telling them that they are less than or inferior. That's making them insecure. That belief is really at the core. It's at the root of their insecurities. So body language can help to show how that belief expresses itself on a behavior level. But ultimately, you want to really dial in on that belief and that lie that they tell themselves, because that's at the core of it all. That's the root of it all. Hopefully that helps. Okay, let's reset our timers and get into sprint number 4. Last sprint, guys. Let's finish strong. Let's start one in the Discord. Feel free to join over there. And good luck. 4 is finished. Fantastic work, everyone. I hope your final sprint was fabulous and that you finished strong and wrote a lot of words. Type in the chat, tell me how your last sprint went and how the whole session went as a whole. My session went really well. I ended up finishing, let's see. I still have this weird little chapter that I'm not sure what to do with. I might combine it with another chapter, but I finished up 4 new chapters. So a lot of it was rewriting, rearranging, taking stuff I'd already written and sort of reworking it. So yeah, lots of work finished. Super happy with the progress I made. And looks like you guys made some awesome progress too. Fantastic. So many words being written. You guys should be so proud of yourselves. I am very proud of you. I'm proud of you for showing up and for taking this time with me today to be creative, to dedicate your time to your creativity and your art. It's so important. Even if you didn't write as many words as you were hoping, even if you are not at the word count that you want to be at for NaNoWriMo, none of that matters. What matters is that you keep showing up for yourself and that you love it. Find joy in your craft. Find joy in the practice, and it will serve you forever. Trust me. Okay, guys, my battery is running low on that, so shut that off. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this session. I'm so glad you were able to make it, and I hope to see you next Wednesday for our final NaNoWriMo group writing session. Until then, you can check out the Discord community by joining my Patreon at any level. You can get access to that. The link is in the description box below this video. We do writing sprints in there all the time. There are writers in there sprinting every day, sharing their work, sharing ideas, brainstorming together, and also just talking about writing, books, movies, music. So much fun discussion happening in the Discord. So check that out with the link to my Patreon, which is below this live stream. Thank you guys again for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, rock on.